Hi and welcome to this new video where I show you which pages I colored in December 2025. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Ina. If not, welcome back. This month I only colored in 7 books, but I did a lot of double pages and double page spreads, with a total of 17 pages. I'll set the books aside briefly and then we get started. I start with my project book, Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Joanna Basford. In this book, I colored these 2 pages. The left page with a stack of books, the keyhole, keys and the bee was left over from November, and I didn't finish it then. The keyhole on the right page is the December page. Both pages were a nice change from all the winter and Christmas themed pages. For both pages I used the Castle Art Soft Touch pencils. On the left page I also used some metallic gel pens. And on the right page I used a glitter gel pen for the inside of the flowers and the butterfly. That was Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Joanna Basford. Next I continue with Seasons by Hannah Carlson. In this book I colored this double page spread with the mice playing around the Christmas branches. I'm not completely satisfied with the background, but I've already improved it. You can see it in the video I made about it, if you're interested. For the background I mainly used Jackson water-soluble wax crayons and one from Harlett's. Then I used metallic watercolors for all the little splatters. For the actual motif I used the Castle Art Soft Touch pencils and some metallic and glitter gel pens. And a white gel pen. That was Seasons by Hannah Carlson. Next I show you the pages from Welt der Weihnachtswichtel, translated to World of Christmas Elves by Christel Vogel. Here I colored the page titled Reading Aloud, including this small illustration. I primed the pages with watercolors made from felter pens and then used the soft touch pencils, as well as a few from the Harmonious set. For all the tiny details, I used glitter and metallic gel pens from Avec and a white gel pen from Sakura. Then I colored another page in this book, The Toy Store. Again, including the small illustration. This time I based the page with the Castle Arts watercolor pencils and then used the soft touch pencils and a few from the Harmonious set again. And for all the details, I used gel pens. For this page, my plan was to color everything outside the shop window in cooler tones and everything inside in warmer colors. I would say especially in this small illustration you can clearly see the warm colors, contrasting with the cooler tones outside on the other page. That was Welt der Weihnachtswichtel by Christel Vogel. The last two pages I started during my autumn challenge in October, just like the following page in this Deco Time adult coloring book. This page with all the kitchen utensils. For this I only used no-name pencils. At first glance it looks like all the items are lined up on a table, for example. But if you look closely, you will notice that the objects aren't actually behind each other, but rather stacked on top of one another, as you can see down here. Also, all the areas I colored black in the background were original additional utensils that were just randomly placed behind of each other, without much sense. That's why I colored everything black that wasn't clearly recognizable, treating it as the background. This is often an issue with inexpensive books where it's unclear who created them. The images sometimes lack coherence and logical structure. But I think it turned out pretty okay, considering that. That was this Deco Time adult coloring book. Next, I continue with Bulu by Diane Dufour. In this book, I did a body color with Selena Moonlight from Instagram, coloring this cat under the Christmas tree. I've even made a video for the background, if you're interested in the bouquet effect. For that, I used the Castle Arts Harmonious pencils, and for the rest, the soft touch pencils, along with some gel pens, both glitter and metallic. I show you Selena's page here. She did an excellent job. And funnily enough, she colored her cat to look just like my cats. Thank you, Selena, for the body color. That was Boule de Pois by Diane Dufour. Next is Mein Winterspaziergang by Rita Beermann. In this book, I completed several double-page spreads. Let's start with the Advent calendar and the St. Nicholas boot. For the background, I used Castle Arts watercolor pencils along with my adding gloss marker for the snowflakes. For coloring, I used Castle Arts gold pencils as well as various gel pens. I actually colored this advent calendar like a real advent calendar, adding a little bit each day. And I colored the St. Nicholas boot mostly on St. Nicholas Day. So that on the 24th, I only had this last small motif left. Even though I realized this year during my autumn challenge that I don't like whips and prefer to finish pages completely before starting a new one, this advent calendar was definitely a good exception. Next, I continue with the next double page spread, these Christmas ornaments. After creating a bouquet background in Seasons and then again in Boule de Poire, I tried another bouquet background here. For this, I used Jackson and Harlett's watercolor wax crayons. And for coloring all the ornaments, I used the Castle Arts Gold and applied plenty of metallic watercolors over it, so that all the ornaments and the decoration on the edges have a shimmer. And I also used gel pens and my new Posca marker for the highlights. The third double page spread was this with a firework. This double page spread is another body color with Selena Moonlight. I'll show you her double page spread here. Both of our pages turned out really colorful and sparkle beautifully. I actually wanted to make my houses more subtle, like she did, but somehow they ended up a bit more colorful than planned. I think that's pretty nice, though, as it makes our pages more distinct from each other. I really like Selena's choice of colors. For the houses, I used the Castle Arts Gold pencils, which I pretty much always use in this book. And for the firework, I used glitter markers from Deco Time as well as glitter gel pens. And for the snow, my white Posca marker. I hope you can see all the glitter on the camera. That was Mein Winterspaziergang by Rita Beermann. The last page in December is from the Coloring Heaven Timeless Beauty Special. I colored this winter portrait of a girl. This is the first page I colored in this book, and also my first page in any Coloring Heaven book, because I only have this one. I have to say I really like the paper. I didn't use much water, but it worked well for what I did. I based the girl with Castle Arts watercolor pencils and then colored her with a mix of Soft Touch and Harmonious pencils. For the background, I used soft pastels, and for the silver snowflakes, I used this calligraphy marker from Pilot with waterproof ink. And then I used a white gel pen for the highlights in the eyes and on her lip. I had a lot of fun with this page and really like how it turned out, which is why it's one of my favorite pages for this month. And I would say my second favorite page is the Advent calendar. Which page do you like best? Feel free to write it in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye!